Hey everybody, before we get started, I just want to remind you this episode about your patrons like Akio Comics, Blacklist Souji, Carlos, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Rogue Robin, Shiny P, Some Guy Named Bob, Soto-san 0424, Ciderent23, and Video Gamer 75. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thanks for your support, everybody. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk FGO Wanted, the show where we ask you if you want to roll that 5-star. Do you? I don't know. This one seems popular. Anyway, hi. So today we're going to be talking about Okita Alter. You know, Okita Alter. Many kit bashes. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're doing it. So this is Wanted, in case this is your first time, because it has been a little bit since we did a Wanted. Oops, sorry. Oh, my mic arm. The basic idea of what we're going for here is that we are going to talk about a 5-star, usually, but also not sometimes. It happens. We do some fun stuff and nobody watches those videos. Pause for effect. But generally we break this down into 4 segments. We talk about their real-life history, their lore and fate with a capital L. We talk about their mechanics, and we talk about their rarity. Not their star rarity, because I gotta be honest, depending on the banner, that doesn't matter. Right now, 10 million downloads is going on. Which was 13 in Japan, but it's 10 million for us, and that's got the final big rate up so far for Summer Mordred, and you know, 4 stars are supposed to be easier, but the first time I did it, as immortalized on this channel, you can go back and find it. I rolled like 350 quartz. I didn't get any 4 stars, not even not rate up 4 stars, and I just got extra copies of like Tomo Lancer. So sometimes star rarity doesn't, and percentages don't actually correlate to, you know, the whole thing, right? But we're going to talk about how frequently their rate ups are, which is another big deal in this game, letting you know when you want to roll something, when it's going to come out. I apologize, by the way, if I sound a little nasally or something, or whatever. I don't know. Having a weird day, okay? This freaking storminess going on, it's really fucking my shit up. I can swear it's late. We've already done the Patreon bumper and everything. Anyway, the thing, though, with the real-life bit is that this is an alter who is heavily influenced by other shenanigans. Thus, there's really not going to be any real-life stuff to talk about. We're mostly going to skim over that. If you're actually interested in the real-life background of Okita Souji, hey, go check out my regular Okita Souji Wanted. Because not enough people have watched that. So go ahead and watch that one, and that'll give you everything you need to know. Because as an alter, this is things have... Okay, we had a whole episode on the lore of alters and whatnot. It's alternative or alterated, so not search filter. Sorry, I'm double checking how that video did. It did okay. But alters are alternative or altered or something. They're not necessarily what ifs, but they are something has shenanigans in them, and it's usually something specific in the fate sense. Not like, oh, this is the one who's old, and this is the one who's young. They have different names. Like, theoretically, you could get a different Ushi, who would be the older version of Yoshitsune, but, you know, this is not that. So, there's not much to go on there. What we can do is talk about lore. Now, obviously, appearance-wise, Okita Alter will be kind of a big deal in the upcoming Guda Guda 3. That's the Mystery of the Imperial Capital's Holy Grail. Which honestly has a lot of callbacks to like Koha Ace and a lot of the other outlying story that's the origin for these characters. Got a lot of that going on, a lot of references. So you'll see how she appears and why in that story, and that'll be more specific to the FGO version. The original concept of the character as Majin Saber, or Devil was that at a point in the story, Okita and Demon Archer, Nobu, Sakura Saber and Demon Archer, combine their Saint Graphs or Spirit Origins together to make Okita Alter, who was super strong, but then also super forgetful or sleepy or whatever. She's still a little bit of a gag character, very funny. Got some very funny dialogue with her Noble Phantasm. She sometimes forgets its name. Also, her sword is nameless, except when it has a name. It's great. It's great. It's fun. It's great. But that's not necessarily what we're going with in FGO, but that's where the character originates. But there's, again, like I said, there's not a lot to talk about there that's not already covered by the regular Okita, and this is an interesting case where the Alter and the regular are both 5 stars. They're the exact same rarity, so Obviously, they both got pretty equal wanted coverage. But, yeah, just keep that all in mind. And if you need a refresher on some of that basic Okita stuff, go back and watch that other video I did. It's good. It's a good video. You should watch it. The only other new things I think with lore is just, like I said, she is a major character, obviously being the banner 5-star, in the third Guda Guda event, the Imperial Capital one. And we will get kind of a more complete picture about what's going on in terms of FGO with her there. So, with that quick 5-minute update to let you know, because that's you usually do with alters and original characters and stuff. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and we have to just go ahead and jump into mechanics. So, big thing is that Okita Alter is a alter ego who, in case you forgot, or maybe you don't know, I don't know, you could be a newer player and didn't get in if you got in between the gap between, I guess, Halloween and, now, you wouldn't have any chance to get any alter egos other than, was there a melt rate up sometime? I guess I got her on GSSR. There were probably some opportunities for, like, some lucky bag banners or something, but I don't think there were any real banners that had alter egos on them. So they're kind of a rare class, even now. Even in JP, there have only been, after Okita Alter, there's only a couple of ads, both of whom are semi-limited in some way. So it's a very elite class. If you don't have your Mecha Liz welfare, make sure you're playing later this year, not exactly at Halloween, but around then for the rerun. It's kind of a big deal. But to refresh your memory, where we started on this conversation, is that alter egos do bonus damage, 1.5 damage, to most of the cavalry classes, and Berserker still take double damage. But they do extra damage to Rider, Caster, and Assassin. They do half damage to Knight classes, Saber, Archer, and Lancer, but they don't take extra damage. And alter egos deal extra damage and they don't take less damage from cavalry classes or that, so they don't have any weaknesses, but they don't have any damage resistance, except for Foreigners, another new class that's pretty limited, but will be bosses and stuff, who take double damage from alter ego also and do half damage. So they've got a very diverse spread, and quite frankly, alter egos are just a time-saving class, especially with a lot of their units being very interesting. We'll talk about that more later when we start talking about Okiten skills. But there's not a lot of them, and the thing that Okiten does is that she's the first 5-star AoE that doesn't have a shitload of buffs to her. So, while obviously, we'll talk about that later, she will have a skill upgrade. We'll get there. She's the first 5-star who's not Kiara, and while Kiara is good now, Kiara did literally have 2 of her skills upgraded. Actually, heck, did she have her 3rd upgraded too, and it's just not in this? She need, like, major skill buffs and further tuning to actually do a lot of her stuff, and even then, Kiara is very specific because her gimmick is mostly true damage. So, I don't know. Let me double check my sources to see that she didn't have her 3rd skill buffed, just to be safe. No, okay, Goddess Metamorphosis was still good. So, can you get all of her? No, you cannot get her. I don't believe you can get her 2nd skill upgraded yet. She's only had the one for the first one. So, while Kiara is decently rounded and has an interesting niche, she still has some of her buffs coming. And she is limited, so if you missed the CCC run last year, you won't have an opportunity to roll for her for a while. The CCC rerun's not until next year, but she's not even on that one, I don't think. I think they skip her banner to tie her into OQ Labyrinth. So, that's your only other 5-star competition for now. Now, next year, there is King Protea, who is being a Sakura 5 member, is another very well put together. Like, Lip is a very well put together alter ego, but she's 4-star, so without grailing, her stat caps won't be quite the same. Let's talk about the thing I usually talk about, which is where HP and attack and stuff stack up. So, Okita Alter, even though she's AoE, or in fact because of it, does still have the 2nd best max attack in alter egos. It's fairly robust. She's only a handful of points default behind King Protea. You know. A few hundred. Now her max HP is not as high as a lot of others. She does have the lowest out of all the 5-star alter egos, not by a lot, but by a decent chunk. Like, talk about Kiara. Kiara's one of the Kiara and Sita and I are actually tied for attack, lowest in their bracket. With Melt only having a little bit more than them. Period. But Kiara has a lot more HP. She is much better being arts focused for stalling and tanking, whereas Okita is much for just, well, I'm just gonna, blow these guys up. Depends on what you need. And a lot of people say that Okita needs help. I don't know. I think she could probably use some work on some more of her skills, maybe. I think the primary thing with Okita, as we'll see going through this section, is she's not flashy, and she doesn't get one of the benefits a lot of the other alter egos get, which is that they are usually high servants or some other shenanigan alt form, where they get a boatload of passives, some of which are unique. Okita is just Okita, but an alter ego. Because they didn't want to just make her a Saber again, I guess. I don't know. So that's where her base stats wind up. Alter egos tend to have generally star absorption, middle star generation. Okita has a very high NP charge because she only has one arts card, but she has good hit counts on it and her 2 quick cards, so if you do like AQQ or something, you will generate a surprising amount of NP, a little bit more than you're bargaining for. And also very good hit counts on her extra and buster attacks. Very solid hit count comp all around. And then her NP is, again, pretty bog standard. Powerful attack on all enemies, lowers the enemy's buster card resistance for 3 turns. So obviously, either you are planning on getting her back up in 3 turns, assuming you didn't just, because, like I said, her attack is fairly robust, and she does have a couple of steroids. Assuming you did not just wipe out a wave of some chump cavalry guys. The intent is for a more serious fight for you to get around and hopefully be able to hit them again, not too far off, and then either stack the bonus or just benefit from it. But the other thing that is important to note about this Buster NP of hers is that it's 7 hits, very robust hit counts, and she has like I said, a middling star generation, so you will actually generate some stars on that NP. If you NP QQ, or even if you NP BB, you should still get some decent star generation on top of damage. It's very interesting. Got a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Now, let's talk about her skills. This is primarily where I say that Okita is not flashy. None of her skills really do anything weird or unique. They're just core focused. This is what she does. She will bully cavalry units. The first one is Furthest Earth. This is your pretty bog standard 3-turn burst skill. So it's a double color. Her quicks and her busters are buffed for 3 turns. 20 to 30%. Sorry, you probably don't hear a pause there because of editing, but I had to see if I was going to sneeze or not. I did not, but I had to wait a solid second on that one. So, 20 to 30%, not bad. Buffs her quicks and her busters, which are what her deck is primarily made out of. You can use this as an NP steroid to hit harder. It lives 3 turns, so you can hopefully get it to proc the same loop that you can with the buster resistance. But you can also improve her quicks to generate better stars and NP and stuff. It's a fairly effective skill. Okita's really got the deck and the setup where she likes the 3 turns, even if it's not a full, like 30 to 50%. You could compensate that with other buffs. Now, her second skill is Persistence B. Okay, so I'm going to note, it's not displayed in this graphic, but yes, I know she did recently get a Strengthen. It's not in my graphical setup, and I didn't want to fuck with my format and image comp just to include the buff. I can talk to you about it with my ears, and hopefully you are listening to the video, if not watching it. The default form, which is what she's going to have at launch, you're going to have to wait 2 years for it to get upgraded. Sorry, guys. It's a 20 to 30% battery, and it also increases her Star Gather rate for 1 turn by about, 300 to 500%. Not awful, considering that their star weight is middling. Could be better, but at least depending on who you're paired with, it'll give her an edge over other alter egos, and depending on who you're paired with, might give her an edge over, hoping to make sure you don't get your casters and stuff. And obviously it does come with a 20 to 30% battery, so the cooldowns are a little long. It's probably another one of Okita's weirdness is the cooldowns. You gotta, offset your turns and stuff. But 20 to 30 is not bad. Even at level 1, that means you can immediately K-scope. You just have to accept that you're abandoning the Star Gather. Honestly, this one's a little weird. I think the intent is that you're supposed to use it on a crit turn and then just capitalize on that so you're ready to NP the next time, but I don't know. Maybe it's so that you can do a big, powerful NP, BB, crit turn too. That can work out. But it's her battery. 20 to 30% battery is not bad. The Star Gather rate is okay. And then after being buffed, what it adds is it increases her own attack for 3 times for 3 turns. Wow, sorry. Really lost my throat there for a second. Okay, I found it again. Don't worry. This is what you tune in for. Omega's biting commentary where he doesn't remember he coughed and then he won't edit it out. But anyway, this is a 10 to 20% attack. And like I said, it does have the whole, it's only 3 times, but it's over 3 turns. So it's not like one turn and it goes away. You can actually use it when you use it. So if you use it all up in one turn and Okita gets a perfect charged into NP, and then we're gonna NP crit, NP like Buster crit or something like that, it's perfect. But if not, you know, if it doesn't matter for activating your persistence and whatnot, you can go ahead and pop it. This is again though why I say she's not flashy. It's only 10 to 20%. It's just attack up. Attack up isn't bad, but it's not very impressive. But still, this is a, you know, maximum 20% attack up. She's gonna have maximum 30% card up on her primary cards, etc. And then the last one is Boundless, which is an interesting one. So this improves her NP damage for one turn, 20 to 30%. Again, not super flashy numbers, but a fairly decent robust. This means that with her skill buffed, you're going to wait 2 years, I know. But with her second skill buffed, this means if you proc all 3 of her skills, she has NP at 30% NP damage, 30% Buster and Quick card effectiveness, and then 20% attack up for basically 1 turn, 3 attacks, whatever. A very decent swing turn. The thing about Boundlessness is that it also gives her self-evasion for 1 attack, 3 turns. So this kind of improves on a problem a lot of units have. Like if you've played with Raikou, for instance, you know that while her Mana Burst also has an evade on it, which, while that means that you, usually when you NP, you don't have to worry about her jobbing immediately, so you can do the whole, oh, I've generated stars, I can gather thing. It's still kind of annoying when you're like, okay, but now I want to evade, I want to use my hard defense. This one means that you get one-time evade for 3 turns, so you can proc it to get your NP bonus damage, and then sit on the evade for a while. The only issue is that it's only 1 time, so depending on when the enemy does something big, you could lose it before they pop a big NP turn or whatever. It can be a little annoying, but I think it's an improvement over the usual problem with combining steroids plus evades, right? It's not great, but it's better, is what I'm getting at. And then for passives, it's pretty simple. She has Magic Resistance B to increase her debuff resistance, and then she's got Independent Action A, which increases her critical damage by 10%. It's not awful. So here's where I kind of want to do the thing where I talk about why I say that she is not very diverse or interesting, which is what hurts her. So let's compare her to the other Buster-focused, though obviously Okita also does quick, the other Buster-focused AoE Alter Ego you can get right now, Passion Lip. Now, raw stats-wise, Lip is below Okita. Even if you Grail Lip, that only puts her attack in, like, the same neighborhood. So if you Grailed both of them, then obviously Okita would exceed. But that's kind of natural for these servants. And Lip is more tanky. Like, obviously, her first skill is a beefy damage cut and debuff immunity. Her second skill is all about increasing your defense and taunting, but it also increases her attack. But then her last one is like attack, ignore invincible, instant death, etc. Like, it can do a lot of stuff. She has an NP interlude, so her NP damage is increased, and it heals the party, as opposed to relying on the fact that you're going to loop or you're going to have another Buster one. Though if you do already have Lip, I will say that I'm sure that Okita and Lip will combo well together. But Lip has 4 passives in addition to High Servant, which does nothing, but that's because she has a High Servant. So she starts with Magic Resistance C, which is lower than Okita, sure. And she has Independent Action A, which is lower than Okita, sure. But then she's got Presence Concealment A+, which drastically increases her star drop rate. Now, obviously, with the exception of her NP, Lip's hit counts and card selection aren't as good as Okita. But still, it's a big buff. And then she has Core of the Goddess, which improves her damage and gives her even more debuff resist. Most of the other Alter Egos are in this vein, and this isn't something I think they can ever patch with Okita. They could make her skills more flashy. They could increase their ranks and stuff. They cannot, I don't think, fix her passives to be more diverse, nor should they necessarily. It doesn't make any sense. Alright? That said, there is something to be said for just simple efficiency. There's no, like, trick to Okita. Give her a K-scope, put her in the wave when you want her to hit, just have her pop all 3 skills if they're at max level. Heck, you don't even need a K-scope. I think you can do it with MLB My Imaginary Round at max level for persistence, because it's 20 to 30. Do something that pops stars, somehow, that you can get the stars you need to have her slurp up, or have her combo into them, and just go to town, and you'll do it. And if you get arts and quicks crits, you'll honestly probably generate that NP back faster than you think. Her skills won't fully reset, but it is a 30% buster resist down on enemies. I don't think I mentioned that before. It's a pretty hefty resist down for 3 turns, right? Which means that she's got follow through. You can use her as the setup, and then send in like a lip or something next time for a further knockdown. She will do her job. She's just not going to do any crazy strats or anything. And also, I do think that with meta nerds, her standing is hurt by the fact that Scotty is right around the corner, and she is not Scotty compliant. We want to talk about team comp, obviously putting her with other alter egos, or just because you generally use alter egos to kind of flush out units that are in mixed nodes. Pairing her with, like, probably not a Rider, because that'll really fuck up her Stargen stat, but if you're, like, working with Assassins or Casters, anyway, she can add the offensive pinch. This is a problem Omega constantly has, Omega being me, constantly has with, trying to beat up Assassins with offensive Casters. Even though I have a few, it's still a little pinchy, so, alter egos can get in there just as much. She can make a great clear of ads to combo with your Mecha Liz that you definitely have or will have, kind of thing. So she can work as kind of your AoE sweeper to go with those units, soften up a boss, definitely wipe out those ads, all that stuff. Has further combo potential or even get her NP back. In terms of support for her, if you're going to use Okita as your main damage dealer, she works very well with Merlin, obviously, because he gives her the extra NP charge. He's got his own team hard defense. He helps your NP gain, and hey, she's not gonna laugh at hero creation with that buster up and that crit up and that max HP up. That's not gonna do Okita any wrong. The other thing is, obviously, can't go wrong with Waver either. Again, Waver helps her get that starting battery, gets that battery train rolling, and she's not gonna laugh at that damage plus or that crit boost either. In terms of CEs, there's a couple ones. It depends on what you're doing. If you want to try and do turn clears as fast as possible, she works with Imaginary Around or with K-Scopes, without needing to limit break the K-Scope or anything. That's a solid one. The only other thing is then you gotta think, what does she do? So, starting NP is a good one. Honestly, comboing it with the right setups like a Waver, you could go with a 50%, throw in Golden Sumo or something. And honestly, sometimes I occasionally Halloween Princess can work too. I'd go with Sumo on this. Definitely. Maybe the Buster-focused 50% one, or one of the Buster-focused ones, the Buster Crit or something, but no, you probably just want to give her more attack. Especially since Persistence won't be buffed for a long time. That's generally what you want. You want her to have more offense, and you want her to be able to fire her NP a little more readily. You want to guarantee... You want to be able to guarantee the turn that you can pull off this combo. I think that's your primary thing. If you're looking for a backup, Buster improvements are probably the way to go, Buster crits. Because, while she doesn't do anything on her own to increase her critical effectiveness besides independent action, she does have a Star Gather, does have a decent star weight, and does want to proc some of those big hits. So those are the kinds of support you want, right? As a backup, if you're in for the long haul and not just trying to K-Scope to victory. It's a whole thing. Like I said, all in all, Okita's not bad, she's just not very, very flashy unit. And if you're looking for impressive damage dealers, some of the other AoE alter egos will do some more interesting things. But I think she's still worth it, and a lot of people like her for her character design, obviously. So let's talk about her rarity in campaign terms. Hey, guess what, guys? Pretty frickin' rare. Obviously, she'll be in certain, special rate-ups and stuff. Let me double check my sources. Oh, that's right. That's why I love Grand Order Wiki, even though they're slow to update. They're the only ones who I think have this banner schedule trick. Okay, hold on. Omega needs to double check something. He didn't realize that he'd need to do this much prep to double check everything. Okay, yeah, alright. So, this year is her first rerun, Imperial Capital Holy Grail. Next year will be the rerun, that'll be her second run, and then she will be in the rotation when they rerun Guda Guda 4, Guda Guda Final Honoji, the next year. She'll be in the rotation along with, it's unfortunately in rotation with a lot of units, because it's a rotation between Mao Nobu, Avenger Nobu, Old Man Li Shuwen, Assassin, and herself. So that's a little bit of a complicated banner, but those are her 3 big rate-ups that we're looking at, I'm pretty sure. And, hey, if you work on Grand Order Wiki or whatever, and you're listening to this, please do more stuff. It's a great source. I love its formatting. It's much better formatted than other ones. It just needs people to actually input the information, please. I think Cernopedia, who I didn't use a lot of, but occasionally looked at, also stopped updating a lot. So could really use some consistently updated and well-formatted video stuff. Anyway, we've talked long enough about all this stuff. Okita Alter is a fun character. Her mechanics, like I said, are not necessarily gonna be very interesting, but she'll get the work done, and that's really what you want out of an alter ego, right? You want to get that work done. So I'll go ahead and wind this down for you. All right, because there's nothing further to talk about, I don't think. We covered all the supports and stuff, comp, and all the mechanics and all the rarity. So keep it in mind. Good luck on your rolls. And I'll see you in the next Wanted, which will probably be sooner than you think, unless you've already guessed that I'm going to do that Wanted. Woo. So do the usual outro. If you like this video, don't forget to like it. If you got any comments, leave in the comment section down below. You can also hit up our Discord. That link is on the description page and on our channel page as always. Description is not a page me. And of course, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so you can always get our latest videos, including Wanteds and more other stuff like our podcast, Let's Talk FGO. Check it out. Also, make sure to hit that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video, because sometimes Omega has to pull Wanteds out of nowhere in the middle of the night when they suddenly launch a banner with no warning. Thanks, Aniplex. And of course, like I said at the front of the show, you can consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Alright, thank you for your support, everybody. All that. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Omega out.